As community members struggled with the loss of Alexis Hill, a local restaurant is calling on the community to help. The Funnel Cake Factory, located near the site of the deadly shooting, is feeling the impact. Over the next several days, the restaurant will be taking a portion of their proceeds and donating it to Alexis Hill's family. The
30-year-old store manager Alexis Hill was shot and killed late this morning. Now new tonight, the coroner has identified the gunman as 33-year-old Jerome Willis, who was later shot and killed by police after officers say he opened fire on them and a canine named Havoc. Hill's family is asking for respect and privacy at this time for the mother of 3 boys.
Shot, well, they're both in good condition. We got a perpetrator that is deceased, and it's going to be the same perpetrator that was just committed murder right down the street at Dollar General. And I can tell you this, you commit murder in the city of Columbus, and then you shoot 2 of my police officers, we're going to kill you.
You are about to watch a woman get killed over $1.58. No argument, no warning, no reason that makes any sense at all. She is smiling. She is doing her job. She is straightening 2 crumpled dollar bills so they lay flat in the register, the way she has done 10,000 times before. And in the next 3 seconds, her life is over. Her name is Alexis Hill. She is 44 years old, a mother of 3 sons, a grandmother of 2. On a Tuesday morning in Columbus, Georgia, she is standing behind the counter of a Dollar General on Victory Drive, doing the most ordinary thing a human being can do. By the end of this video, you will know exactly who pulled the trigger, what he did in the 2 hours after he walked out that door, and why her own brother says God had to step in to finish what started that morning. Alexis worked retail for years, Circle K, Kohl's, the Department of Transportation. She landed at Dollar General and stayed almost 7 years, working her way up to store manager. A Columbus police corporal, who knew her for half a decade, says Alexis once talked a domestic violence victim through escaping a dangerous situation, right there in that store. She had the biggest heart you could possibly think of, the corporal says. She cared about everybody. She always put herself second. That is who was behind the register that morning. Around 10 a.m., a man walks in. He grabs a pack of hamburger buns, nothing else, and brings it to the counter. The total comes to $1.58. He hands over 2 crumpled dollar bills. Alexis starts smoothing them out to fit the drawer. Subscribe now, because in the next 60 seconds, this goes from a routine transaction to a homicide, and then a manhunt that closes in under 3 hours. While she is still straightening those bills, the man steps to the side. He pulls out a handgun. He shoots her once in the head, on camera, in broad daylight. He does not say a word. He walks out like nothing happened. Muskogee County's coroner pronounces Alexis dead at the scene at 10:45 that morning, less than an hour after her shift started. Now you need to know who did this. His name is Jerome Marque Willis. He is 33 years old, and his first conviction goes back to 2007, a robbery charge in Muskogee County when he was still a juvenile. The court gives him 20 years, 10 to serve. It does not stick. By 2023 and 2024, he is back in the system, this time on terroristic threats charges, also in Muskogee County. He serves roughly 2 years. Here is the detail that should stop you cold. On May 21, 2026, Jerome Willis walks out of Dooley State Prison a free man. That is 30 days before he walks into that Dollar General. 30 days. Columbus police do not waste a second. The surveillance footage is clear, his face is unmistakable, and there is no mystery about what happened inside that store. The only question left is where Willis went after he walked out those doors. It does not take long to find out. Officers track him to a parking lot on Baker Plaza Drive, not far from where the old Muskogee Elementary School once stood. Less than 2 hours after Alexis Hill is pronounced dead, law enforcement has eyes on the man they believe pulled the trigger. Around 11:40 that morning, officers give Willis verbal commands to stand down. He refuses. Officers deploy Canine Havoc, a 2-year-old German Shepherd, trained for exactly this moment. Willis raises his weapon and shoots toward the dog. Then he keeps that gun pointed straight at the officer standing in front of him. Gunfire breaks out. 1 Columbus police officer is struck. So is Havoc, the dog who ran toward danger so his handler would not have to. Officers return fire. Willis is struck multiple times. He is pronounced dead at the scene at 1:16 that afternoon. From the moment Alexis Hill was killed to the moment Willis took his last breath, less than 3 hours pass. Here is what you need to understand about that morning, laid out plainly. Alexis and Jerome Willis had never met before that moment. There was no argument, no dispute, no history between them. He was free for exactly 30 days before this happened. He showed no hesitation, no words, before shooting her. He was already armed and ready to use that weapon again within the hour. That last point matters more than you might realize. Willis's own mother, Bernice Hartman, came forward publicly after all of this. She offered condolences to Alexis Hill's family, but she also said something that split public opinion wide open. "I have not been convinced yet that my son killed her," she says. "When they give me the evidence showing me that he killed her, I'll be satisfied with that. I think they randomly picked him walking down the street." She also mentions her son struggled with mental health issues, specifically paranoia, and believes that played a role in how the standoff with police unfolded. Think about the position that puts you in as a viewer. Surveillance footage exists. The coroner has confirmed the cause of death. Officers on scene identified him, and yet his own mother is standing in front of cameras asking the public to wait before judging. Is that a mother's grief talking? Or is there something about this case that genuinely deserves a second look? The Georgia Bureau of Investigation stepped in to review the officer-involved shooting independently. Standard procedure whenever police use deadly force. Every angle of that parking lot confrontation would be examined by someone outside the Columbus Police Department. But while investigators worked through the procedural side of this, Alexis Hill's family was drowning in something far heavier than procedure. Do you think a mother's doubt deserves airtime against video evidence like this? Tell me where you land in the comments. Alexis left behind 3 sons and 2 grandchildren, and here is what almost nobody outside her family knew. She was supposed to be gone already. Her sons had moved to Colorado, building careers in solar panel installation, and they wanted their mother there with them. Alexis was making plans to join them, to be close to her grandchildren, to finally slow down. But she needed major surgery first. That delay is the only reason she was still behind that register in Columbus at all. Her brother Jonathan Hill, a retired Marine, was on his morning run along the Riverwalk when he got the call. His nephew told him Alexis had been shot and might not survive. "I just took off running," Jonathan says. "I ran and ran till I got out of breath. Then I got back to my car and I drove, within the limits of the law, straight to that Dollar General. By the time he arrived, the scene had already unfolded. Paramedics pointed him in the right direction. What he found there became, in his words, his worst nightmare turned real." If a story like this moves you, hit that subscribe button now, because we cover cases just like this one every single week. Jonathan later learned Willis had struggled with untreated mental health issues for years, cycling in and out of the prison system without ever receiving the psychiatric evaluation that might have stopped this. Georgia's system released him after time served, with no requirement that anyone confirm he was mentally fit to return to society. That does not mean he was rehabilitated, Jonathan says. What happened in between him being released and him doing something like this? There should have been another step. Alexis was 30 days away from safety in Columbus, and 30 days away from a new life in Colorado, when both timelines collided at once. If you were writing Georgia's release policy, what would you change? Drop your answer below. Jonathan Hill said something in his interview that stayed with everyone who heard it. "She can't be replaced," he says. No long speech, no complicated words, just that. The family set up an authorized GoFundMe to cover funeral costs and support for the children Alexis left behind, and they specifically warned the public about fake fundraisers trying to profit off her name. A local restaurant, the Funnel Cake Factory, pledged a portion of its proceeds directly to the family, and Columbus showed up in ways that went far beyond a single donation. Dollar General closed the store temporarily, brought in grief counselors for staff, and pledged full cooperation with investigators. And through all of it, Jonathan asked for something you might not expect from a grieving brother. He asked people to leave Jerome Willis's family alone. "Vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord," Jonathan says. "I believe God used the Columbus Police Department to take vengeance for us, so we would not have to get involved." Think back to that first register scene, 2 crumpled dollar bills, a total of $1.58. A woman doing her job exactly the way she always had, 30 days out of prison. No motive, no warning, no answer that will ever make sense. If this case affected you the way it affected me, subscribe now, because we break down cases like this every week, and you will not want to miss the next one. What detail from this story is staying with you tonight? Tell me in the comments below, because I read every single one. Rest easy, Alexis.